All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the CareOptimize Insights webinar series. I'm Jan Haskell-Moore, and I'll be taking care of the housekeeping for this demo. Part of that housekeeping is ensuring that everyone is muted. So if you have any questions during the demo or right after, please use the chat box for those questions, because we're going to keep everybody muted. We will be answering a few of those right after the presentation. For today's presentation, Megan Halligan, Vice President of Operations at CareOptimize, is going to take us all through a demonstration of the new CareOptimize MIPS Management Solution. So without further ado, I will now turn it over to Megan.
Fantastic. Thanks everybody for joining. I know it's right before the holidays here. So hopefully, everybody's going to go off and enjoy a couple days off here soon. So I do appreciate people joining right before their holidays. We are going to talk about our MIPS Management Solution. Let's jump right into things here. So those of you that don't know, or maybe this is just a nice little reminder, MIPS stands for the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System. And this was created to hopefully promote better care and healthier patients, and also focus on smarter spending. And they intend to do this by actually evaluating clinicians and actually calculating those into comprehensive scores based on quality, cost, improvement activities, and advancing care information. So it's actually right around the corner. Kind of the interesting thing, this year is unfortunately running out. The reporting period is starting January 1st, 2017, and will close on the 31st of December. It will be for a 90-day period, but that reporting period can start already on January 1st. So we're really looking to make sure we're educating people so we get started right on the right foot for this program. Again, just a little nice reminder for anybody that's been trying to avoid MIPS. Putting it very simply, we do have another presentation that was given a little bit earlier that we'd be happy to provide for anybody that is looking for a little bit more information and in-depth information on MIPS. You can always feel free to put in the chat for Jen, and she'd be happy to send that over to you. But on the simple side of how to explain this, the program is broken into 4 categories. You have your quality program that's going to be replacing the PQRS system, and actually accounts for the majority of your score. It's about the 60%. You have your advancing care information. That's going to be replacing our meaningful use. A little bit less, but just as important, will be at our 25% for that. We have our costs that's coming based off of our claim data, and that's replacing our value-based modifiers. This does not come into account towards our overall score until 2018. Excuse me. I'm going to keep getting that mixed up, and I apologize. And then lastly, have our improvement activities. And this really aims at kind of broad items to improve the healthcare delivery system. Some examples of that we've seen are our population health management, care coordination, and our beneficiary engagements. This one only comes in at the 15% to round out our full score for 2017. All right. So we've had the privilege of the past few years working with our practices as well as other practices with their PQRS and MU scoring. So of course, when the MIPS program came out, there are certain requirements that we put together. We need a solution to be able to provide to both our clients and ourselves to be able to easily report. And the one interesting thing is, as these programs have come out, our clients have gotten more sophisticated, which of course then when it comes to reporting brings in a lot more complications. So for the MIPS program, we really needed an application that was going to be able to support all 243 quality measures and not just pick and choose items. Now again, back on the healthcare is growing and changing at an extremely rapid pace these days. We really needed something that was going to be able to incorporate across multiple EHRs. We're seeing practices, especially multi-location practices and multi-specialties, that may use one or multiple EHRs. We needed something that was going to be able to provide on-the-fly modeling for different dates, as well as with MIPS being able to do individual and group reporting, be able to make those decisions and do those evaluations quickly and easily. Provide a financial dashboard for the cost categories. It's a new category that's going to be tracked. Of course, 2017, not something we have to worry about too much, but 2018 and further, it's going to start becoming more and more important, and will be going up to 30% of the overall score. So it actually will end up being our second highest counting score. We need something that's going to easily provide reports without having to do a lot of manual processing. And these reports need to be provided in real time. Having to wait multiple days to get those reports is really a struggle for some of our clients. Of course, being able to find those gaps in care easily. And that's also important when we look at population health management, as well as chronic care management, being able to identify those patients, not only from it, but to work with those programs as well. And of course, able to accommodate for those highly specialized groups and customized organizations. A lot of the different EHRs do allow for customizations, and when it comes to reporting, that tends to cause some complications. And of course, lastly, and probably one of the most important ones on our requirement list is, MIPS reporting starts January 1st, and we want to be able to make sure that we have something that's going to be available and ready to start tracking already in January. What CareOptimize did is we went out and we partnered with a group to be able to actually provide a benchmark system to do all those things. So it, of course, automates the registration for MIPS NASA, and it's going to be a single source to measure scores and view how they're being calculated. It does integrate across multiple EHRs, which is a huge one, especially for our larger groups. With MIPS, they introduced this new benchmarking system, and to be able to see how you stack up against the benchmark performances. We wanted to be able to allow for easy recommendations to make sure people could not only understand their scores, but maximize their scores against their peers. It does automate the attestation process and gives real-time measurements. So let me jump on over, because I'm sure this is what everybody was actually interested in. And let's actually take a look at the tool. Now, this is just a dummy environment, so none of the names or numbers in here, of course, are real. But I'd like to take a couple minutes and actually walk you through the application so you can see how it functions and how we work to incorporate all of those items into an actual solution that will be ready for our patients when the MIPS program actually gets started. So you can see on the face page on the dashboard here, we have on a program level each 4 of our categories: our quality, cost, advanced care information. Just going to go down just a little bit, we have our improvement activities. Each category displays the total points eligible from CMS, as well as your performance score for each category. On the left-hand side here, the scores are combined for the composite score. The system is already excluding in your composite score the cost, as it doesn't apply for the 2017 reporting. So for each category, you can actually select and explore the performance for each one. We'll take a minute to actually go into them here. If we take a first look at the qualities, you can see the primary measure sets up at the top. Additionally, we do want to allow all of our groups to take a look at some additional measures and select additional measures to track at the same time. And this will, of course, allow some of the practices to keep an eye on the performance of all their scores, and when it comes to attestation period, make educated decisions on their highest performing items and make changes. So within the actual dashboard here, we do have these little information buttons. You'll see them frequently throughout the application. And this is to provide easy explanations of either how things are calculated or the definition of items. And you don't have to go to multiple places to find these. So if we take a look at our measure set, there we go. It's going to provide a quick explanation of what this is. And then same for our individual measures, what goes into those and how they're being calculated. Again, we wanted something that's going to provide easy, quick information. People don't have to go searching through 3, 4, 5 different applications to find this. So for each measure, it actually displays the current performance and scores as well as the CMET benchmark for each one. That's what those little lines are for each measurement. And of course, very simply, you can see the red performance scores are obviously the ones that are passing, and of course, our green ones are the ones that are meeting and exceeding those benchmarks. It does also show there are some measures that are inverse measures, which gets a little bit confusing when you have just a full report of inverse and direct measures. So we did have it so for those inverse measures, they are easily displayed with a little symbol to indicate that those are as such. So if you actually select one of the measures, there we go. It's going to drill down and actually display for you all of your patients that have a gap in care for that measure. The nice thing is you can filter all these patients by different information based on the program, patient statuses, demographic information to really drill down and work on those individual patients. And then these lists can all be exported to your care teams to work and contact the patients or work to improve those individual scores. So if we actually select a patient, we can see all the measures that, not just the single one, but every single measure this patient falls into the denominator and is eligible for. It's also going to show the number of gaps of care for those patients. And if you go into this, it's actually going to break it down and show how their performance is being calculated. So for this patient's A1C, it's actually pulling the lab test. So we can see that it's poorly controlled at 9.1. If we go back and actually return to our categories here, we want to already start having the conversation, start tracking already in preparation for 2018, our costs. So under the costs, you're going to be able to see the claims feed information that's coming in, and that way you'll be able to see the performance. And then, of course, as these items get calculated for 2018, you're going to know how you already stack up. Advanced care is very similar to our quality measures. It'll display up at the top our 5 base measures, and that counts towards 50% of the score. And then below, we have our performance measures that make up the rest. Our performance measures do pull from the EHR, and they'll display the results to count towards the composite scores. And then, of course, our fourth category are improvement activities. This one's a little bit different. This doesn't fall quite into the same format as our PQRS or our meaningful use. For most people, this is going to be out of 40 points, which usually falls into about 2 to 4 activities. We do allow practices to select which activities they're going to work on through the reporting period. And then as items are completed, mark as completed and track within the application as well. In addition, we can look at the individual providers and their performance scores. So if we take a look at our providers that are participating in the MIPS program, we can see our highest performing providers as well as our lowest performing providers that may need a little bit more help. We do have the ability to actually export, oops, let me click a little too fast there. Export scorecards on the providers and actually view their performance and their qualities. This function is very similar to what we saw on the practice level. Each provider will then, of course, break down into their quality, cost, advanced care information, and improvement activities and their individual scores and how those calculate into the individual provider's composite performance. Just like we saw on the practice levels, each category can be drilled down into the individual measures and then further down into identifying the gaps in care. And what's really important to us is, there are some groups that spend a lot of time generating reports on a weekly basis, especially when we get towards the reporting periods and attestation periods. So we want to make sure that these can then, of course, be exported and automatically sent out to the appropriate people that are going to keep track of that and not have to always go in and set up the reports and generate them. So this solution actually provides a very nice, simple way to view practice level as well as provider level performances, identifying those gaps in care, actually working to improve it on a very personal patient level, and that also will allow engagement of other care coordinations or medical professionals within the practice to work towards improving those gaps in care and, of course, then the overall measures. Let me hop back over here. So what does this whole process look like? We've talked a lot about what our goals were, and you've now seen what solution that we were able to provide in order to meet those goals. But of course, then there's the question of how does this all get implemented, and what does this process look like? So CareOptimize is really looking to partner with the practices. We never want to just let somebody off and hope they find the solution for themselves. So we'll work with you to gather your provider information as well as select the measures. We will work with you to an analysis of your EHR configuration, especially for our groups that are highly specialized. This becomes extremely important to make sure we are capturing the data in your actual workflow and your documentation. So with our application, we're going to make sure that it's custom tailored to capture it from your current practices practicing. The data will be transmitted to the dashboard nightly. We do also have the ability to run ad hoc reports as you're working on measures and working to improve those towards your attestation period. Then, of course, when everything is up and running and you're tracking continuously and you're getting your reports sent to you, there's going to be a continuous data validation just to make sure that there is no glitches or any workflow changes that you do have are getting incorporated into the reporting, and then an automated attestation process. So we know our clients have a lot of options in how they work with the group. So we want to make sure that we provided full services, continuous tracking, helping people choose the process, running and generating reports, reviewing those performance reports, helping with the gaps in care. But for some of our clients, if you're interested, you do have the option of tracking your performance and scores and just utilizing the dashboard as its own application. So there are two routes that we can provide. So I know there are still a couple people out there that have hoped that MIPS will be put on hold for a year. Right now, we're definitely looking to jump forward into all this. So CareOptimize, if you haven't had the opportunity to have a state of the practice report and actually see how you're going to be affected with MIPS, we are absolutely eager to do those for people and get everybody educated, as prepared as everybody that can be into this process. Hopefully we can have this be a smooth transition from our old meaningful use PQRS and into a successful implementation of the MIPS program. So I will leave this information up here as well. I do believe Jen's going to post all this information to our website. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's about our application or information about the MIPS program as well, or how can we help you. We are here and we'll be going through the process with you as well. Dan, do you have any questions that I can run through and answer?
Yep, Megan, we have a couple here that have come through chat. First one, what if we've customized our EHR?
That's actually a really great question. Probably the number one reason that we started looking for a solution. That is not a problem. The dashboard, we are going to be spending the time working with you and actually taking a look at where you're applying the information to make sure it's captured in your scenario as opposed to making you fit towards any other place. So that's not a problem. And actually, for the reason why we needed to find a solution to accommodate for some of those clients. We never want to just put somebody out there and hope that their reports are successful, and that's something that's constantly going to need to be updated as the year goes on and programs change and workflows change. And so updating the dashboards on a per individual level to accommodate to your workflow is exactly our intention.
Okay, and here's another one. What if we select a measure you don't currently support?
Right now we are supporting the full 200 if CMS, which is possible, comes out with any types of new measures or modified measures. It's our ownership to make sure those get modified and it get quickly updated. In that same sense, if new measures do come out or the measures that are currently out there do get modified, we will need to do an individual evaluation of the workflows to make sure that there's no negative impact on the reporting.
Okay, a couple more. Are there a maximum number of measures per client?
No, so we do recommend for groups to choose their top 6, but they can have up to 15 measures, and that way, there might be 6 that are very obvious, but some of our specialized groups can choose up to 15 additional or 15 total to track, and that way when it does come to the attestation time, they already know how they're performing on all of the measures and can just choose the top performing ones. Okay, and this one will wrap it up. Can I change the reporting periods to view my best 90 days? Absolutely. With the application, that's extremely important because the information is constantly coming in. It will just require them to update the time period that they want to take a look at.
Okay, and that's it. So thank you everybody for coming, and we did record this meeting, so the recording will be available to anyone who wants to watch it again. And thanks.
Thanks.